This is where the fun begins.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Imperial Armored Commando from Season 3 of The Mandalorian. I know that some people were not very satisfied with this third season, but one of the generally universally requested figures from this season was this Commando and Moff Gideon, which they've pipelined, so thankfully they are checking the correct boxes. There are some other characters I wouldn't mind getting, I know that some probably wouldn't care for, but that is what it is. This is a really, really cool trooper design, and let's be fair, the Disney trooper designs have always hit. I don't think they've ever really done any that weren't good, and it's just a stormtrooper with Beskar. This isn't the super commandos like we have seen in Rebels, because those were actually Mandalorians conscripted into the Imperial Army, whereas these are just stormtroopers, retrofitted with better equipment from a Beskar mine. And they are absolutely glorious. So it was really cool seeing them in the show, and it's a figure that I'm super glad to finally have in the line. Let's go ahead and get into the review and see if this is a pickup for you. Here we have the Imperial Armored Commando in the packaging. As always, we're just going to take a look at what you're getting here. This is your standard, at this point, Black Series packaging, with your Black Series logo up above a big window showing him and his accessories off well. He is number 42 in the Mandalorian lineup. Imperial Armored Commando, working his way up that side. Star Wars The Mandalorian in orange there. Warning, 4+ Hasbro. This side of the box features some really cool artwork of him standing there in front of the door that they faced off of Paz Vizsla, looking all stoic, holding his rifle, and then Imperial Armored Commando at the bottom. This side features a wraparound window, wraparound orange stripe, and your Black Series logo. Around back, again, a Black Series logo, a zoom-in of that side art, and then a bio about the character in many languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. Again, number 42 in the Mandalorian lineup. Bunch of legal stuff, Disney and Hasbro logos. Barcode, more legal stuff. Up top features a hanger tab and flat plastic. No light getting in the box there for you in-box losers. I opened my toys, so let's get them out of the box and see what we're getting here. Here we have the Imperial Armored Commando out of the packaging, and as always, we're going to start by taking a look at the accessories. So, he comes with his jetpack, which is really, really cool. This is a unique design, one we've not seen for any other Mandos or anything yet. It is completely proprietary to the Armored Commandos. Looks very nice. It is a glossy white plastic, which is show accurate. It might not be plastic, it might be like painted metal in the show. But, well, of course, the props or the costume department would make it out of plastic still. But it's translated very well to action figure form. It's got a lot of, like, primer gray, accents going on. It's got this really nice, like, grill up top. And there's these little flap wings on the sides. And then these black thrusters, which have holes in the bottom that are shallow, but they look like they would probably end up taking the flame effects from that Return of the Jedi Boba Fett that came out 3 years ago that they refused to give us the effects in any other character. Therefore, if you only buy one of each named character, you can only have one character in your entire collection using their jetpacks. Hasbro, you really need to do better on that. Looking around the back, it does feature the peg with the 2 rectangular notches for the connection, and while plugging it into this figure, it docks on very nice, like so. When you squeeze it in, it is very secure, it's not going anywhere, and it is not rotating, which makes it a very nice and secure fit. Something else you may want to try doing with this is if you remove the jetpack and you bring in a Din Djarin, this is the Glavis Ringworld one, this jetpack actually fits on him very securely, and in the final episode of Season 3, you do see Mando take one of these jetpacks, because his is confiscated, and he ends up with 2 of the pistols, too. So it's going to be very easy for them to do Season 3 finale-type figure for Mando. You just basically do this figure with a new belt, because at the end he had the 2 pistols just jammed in the front. He wasn't using his holster anymore, and that was the end of the series look. So hopefully that's, how they elect to do that figure, and not like the TVC one where they just give him the jetpack and then his normal pistol that he didn't have anymore. But setting that back, let's look at the new pistol. So this pistol is very nice. Focus, there we go. A lot of nice sculpt work on it. It's very simple. It's matte black, a touch of silver paint, around the tip and the like the window in there. It's the same on either side. It's somewhat reminiscent to me of like the Dark Trooper pistols, and or the Death Troopers, the Black Rogue One ones, whichever one it is. But it does look really good. In my mind, I thought it had a little bit of white on it, and I could be totally wrong, and maybe I'm just first ordering this figure anymore. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it is a really nice looking pistol, and it fits into his hand like so, very nicely, very easily. He also features a working holster, one of those straps that you unpeg. You slip the pistol into the holster, you get the strap around up top, and it is very easily repegged, and it is nice and secure. I've always seen videos where people struggle with those, and I think there's only like one or two in the line that don't work, so I don't understand it, but I always got to show it off. They then come with a longer rifle. This one has a lot of Imperial Stormtrooper-esque design to it, and your E11s. But of course there's some stylizing. It is very OT looking, however, and I do like it. It's got a stock, it's got a lengthened barrel, and it just looks oh so good. A little punch of silver on the side there, like a gunmetal gray, not even true silver. Otherwise it is all matte black, and I think this is the weapon I'm going to have him using the most. When we get through articulation, you'll understand that he has the ability to do anything you would want him to, but it does fit in his hand nicely. So now, taking a look at the figure, one thing that threw me a little bit, and I was completely going into this review expecting it, but having picked it up, I don't see it. Some people have said that the helmet on this is like way too small, and I don't see it. I know that Landspeeder Luke like took a peg out of the neck to shorten it, and that kind of was like a trick that made it look better. And in his video, I think he did a good job of making me believe it, but in person, I'm looking at it, and I don't know. This is a figure that does not have a removable helmet. It is a solid head. There's no like white painted glued on head underneath in there, and this would be a case of if they wanted to give you a removable helmet version of this character, it would be a swappable head like in TVC. The sculpt just wouldn't allow for it. And for those of you that have been begging and pleading in the line for that for years, like, would you just not like the figures that come out at that point because the proportions just aren't what you're used to? Because I think this is right. I don't dislike what I'm seeing here. So, but it's a very nice sculpt. Again, it's that very white, plasticky glossiness going on. It is a hybrid Stormtrooper Mando helmet. See, hybrid, I said my name there. But, it's got the black band over the eyes, with the Stormtrooper-styled eyes, but with the T-visor elements, too. Just bring it in. You'll see it's definitely an evolution of sorts. And I like what we're getting here. It's very asymmetrical when it comes to its greebling. I like the kind of like shoulder venti thing here, and your rank badges, and then just your glowing red stripes going around back. It's got the kind of like shoulder pads. Those are very Macquarie-esque, and I love that element of design. You got these little like shoulder, like bicep patches. They has some really nice looking gauntlets going on. They look very good, hybrid Mando and Stormtroopers. This one's just kind of some blocks, angular blocks mounted to it. This one features what appears to be whistling birds, which is just a neat touch, and then some buttons down at the wrist. But it's also been streamlined. It's been very mass-produced, and so it just looks good. I like the gray abdominal wrapping over the white like cod piece mounted to the belt. All looks super cool. It's got some thigh plates going on. It kind of gives me, like, this is like the Stormtrooper equivalent of, like, a Shore Trooper almost. You know what I mean? Where it's like, there's just a lot of exposed, but so that they can do some crazy maneuvering, and I love it. The knee pads are nice. They have these little flaps on the sides, just like the jetpack had. And then the boots are super cool. It just seems like an evolutionary step between Imperial and First Order Stormtrooper. And I just love everything that we're getting here. It is such a good-looking figure, and it's just a great design from the show. Arguably one of the best modern Star Wars Trooper designs. But like I said earlier, they all have hit. Like, I don't have any that I'm just like, that one was bad. Like, they are all pretty rock solid. To run through some articulation, he does feature a double ball jointed neck, allowing you to look that far up with him. The top ball is very high up into the head, so that's a little unfortunate that's all you really get there, but it's alright, it works. Once you get him kind of flying looking, it's decent. He can bury his chin pretty much. There's some side-to-side rotation with a good bit of pivot. His arms come up to a T-pose, and there's a butterfly joint in there, which gets some nice range. 360 degrees at the shoulder. Of course, you have the Macquarie-esque, like shoulder, like cones, Iron Man Silver Centurion pads, if you will. They stick out really far, so it does make you bring the arm out. Single jointed elbows go to 90 at the bicep and swivel. Both wrists, or both gauntlets, swivel at the elbow. And then there is a 360 at the wrists, and both hands hinge up and down. I love to see that. There's a mid-torso ball joint, allowing him to crunch that far forward, which is like a lot, that far back, and then of course you get your side to side and your rotation. His legs kick out that far. They go pretty straight forward. There's basically no back. There's no upper thigh cut, but that's okay because the single jointed knees do 90 degrees and then swivel. Swivel at the knee kind of negates the need for that thigh joint, in my opinion. The feet can go basically straight down. They can go a little bit forward, and there's a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get them into some pretty decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. And yeah, it's kind of just what you would expect from modern Black Series articulation. To do some size comparisons real quick, here is just your normal Imperial Stormtrooper, just to give you an idea of the scale there. And then let's bring in a Din Djarin, a Paz Vizsla, and then let's just go Mando Season 3 on this one, why don't we? Other than the inclusion of the Imperial Stormtrooper, I suppose. So there's IG-12 and Bo-Katan. As you see, he seems to rock right at the standard 6-inch tall height. I feel like that is fairly accurate. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the wrap-up. So at the end of the day, what do I think of the Imperial Armored Commando? Well, honestly, I think it's a really good action figure. I'm extremely satisfied with how they pulled this one off. I have no critiques about it. It's just incredibly well done, and it's another fine addition to my Imperial army. I look forward to army building him. I think I'm going to end up with maybe 4 total for now. Although if Lance Feeder Luke ever were to do the Mando Season 3 door diorama, Paz Vizsla's final sacrifice, I guess I would need maybe another half dozen to just lay on the ground dead around Paz. So potentially this could have a lot more sales depending on how that goes. But yeah, just ultimately it is a very well done figure, one that I'm very happy to have in the collection, and one that I think you will like adding to yours too. Even if you're not huge on the Mandoverse, it's just a really fun Stormtrooper design that could easily make its way into your ranks and not look bad. So yeah, ultimately I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, it means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, you should leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff. I will catch you next time. Until then, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.